Hello, Garmlings. Slimes, small men, large women, your pet dog, and even other folk. I have something that I need to speak to you about today. The Counter-Strike world's been blown open by one man. One man by the name of nocries, a North American prodigy who has been the first person to get the Ropz treatment in 8 years. I'll give you a quick little rundown if you've been living inside of a boulder. Oh hey Barmlings, is this you? Do your premiere matches run like a Google Slides presentation? Well, if so, check out today's sponsor, Hone.gg. Hone is the best software at optimizing your PC for gaming, and it is incredibly easy to use. Just download with my link in the description, and boom, look at all these settings you can tweak. You can increase FPS, reduce input lag, and a ton more. For example, if I'm getting slimed by dorks due to my computer giving up, maybe it'll help if I turn on gaming optimization, Hone gaming mode, and then go to games and activate their CS2 performance preset. Look at that difference. I mean, the sprays still stink, but at least I can whiff a little smoother. And if you don't like the optimization for some reason, you can completely deactivate it with just one button. Along with this, if you want to switch up your config, you can easily copy pros like Simple, Nico, and Donk. Hone has a ton of great reviews, over 1 million users, and is even on Epic Games as a trust factor. But maybe best of all, it's completely free. Although they do have a premium edition that gives you unlimited access and no ads. If you want help with your potato PC, check out Hone. Thank you to them for sponsoring, and back to the video. Random player pops up in NA, seemingly out of nowhere, and goes on to become the #1 ranked player in the entire region. In one of these games, he goes 39-6, and of course, after this, he would start getting called out for cheating. What are we doing here anymore, man? nocries teammate face it banned for cheating, LMAO. How long till nocries gets the same? I want nocries to be legit, because that would mean a generational talent would bless North America for the first time ever. He's probably cheating, lol. No proof, all assumption. My theory is that nocries is a legit 2.5 elo player, but then started using low FOV. Does want to attend LAN, does want to go pro, but has to wean off using an aimbot, so has to start mixing legit play in more regularly. Now, people getting called out in Face It for cheating is not really anything crazy, but it seemed like we would get a fairly clear answer to if he was or not shortly after these accusations started coming out. Because someone by the name of Punisher CS would tweet, "Okay, so in a weird turn of events, I am going to frag jersey number 11 with nocries. Crossing my fingers he can do it on LAN as well." And then literally on the same exact day, he would also tweet, "Okay, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet. nocries has claimed he can't make it to frag jersey anymore because he has an urgent matter and needs to fly to Miami." He also exclaimed that he will probably come in November in an OB1337 team. So at this point, you're just kind of like, okay, guy pops up out of nowhere, starts farming in NA, and then as soon as he gets an invite to a LAN, he backs out. At this point, it's looking like we got a cheater on our hands. He's been caught red-handed. But then, after all of this, something incredibly interesting would occur. He would be invited to Face It HQ to prove his innocence. The last person to have this done was Ropz all the way back in 2017. After nocries would play at Face It HQ, he would continue to dominate with new equipment on a new PC and while being constantly monitored. So Face It would come out and say, nocries is clean, along with dropping a lot of his lore. nocries, the future savior of NACS, is Russian. Yes, I'm sorry to say NA Squadron, but it is true. From what I can tell, he's from... Hold on, let me figure out how to say this.
2 very boring minutes later.
Baryatia.
nocries is from Buryatia, which is a mountainous Russian republic in eastern Siberia. He has strong Mongolian heritage as well. He has around 10,000 hours in CS on various old Steam accounts that were shared between family and friends, and his current account that was created in 2021 has nearly 6,000 hours. Apparently, he played Valorant from 2020 to 2022, reaching Radiant rank in Europe. Hey man, listen, after all the players that left NA to go play Valorant, it's only fair one superhuman leaves them to save us. He'd go on to create his Face It account in 2022, peaking at 2,974 elo in December of 2022 in CSGO. Now this was also from queuing in the bottom of Siberia, so he would constantly have around 120 ping. In 2024, he'd move to the US for school, and after building his own PC, he'd start queuing in NA Face It in June of 2025. Then after only playing for 3 months in NA, he'd reach the #1 rank on September 15th. As of today, he has officially been invited to and joined FPL. So now all we can do is wait to see what he does moving forward. Now, there is a little bit of confusion as to what type of team he would play for, because I've seen two sources. One saying if he does go on to play for a team, he said he'd play for an NA team due to him living here, studying here, and having a home here. But then I also saw a source that said he'd rather play in a team that speaks Russian. So it's, you know, it's all up for debate. We really don't know what he would do. And the one where he says he'd like to play with a Russian speaking team, he also does say he'd probably play for an NA team as well. So leaning towards NA, but who knows? If he does play for an NA team, M80, Liquid, NRG, Wildcard, I'm looking at you guys. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't wish for my worst enemy to play on Liquid. The forefather to nocries and current top 10 player of all time, right? Surely. I mean, surely Ropz is top 10 all time at this point. It's actually a good question though. Who is the top 10 players all time? Do you guys care if we just switch up the video real quick? I mean, I'm interested. I need to know.
And now for something completely different.
In 2016, as a little 16-year-old Estonian fetus, Ropz would begin his Counter-Strike career by farming FPL. With 2016 being nearly a decade ago at this point, I know, my britches fell off when I heard that for the first time as well. FPL was significantly different than it is today. Back in 2016, it did feel like a majority of pros played it, and especially in EU, it was taken quite seriously, of course when compared to NA.
Please, chicken coop. Chicken coop! Chicken coop!
So, when you as a 16-year-old no-name come in and start decimating some of the best players in the entire world who have won majors, cheating accusations are of course bound to follow. It eventually got to a point where pros he looked up to had started calling him out for being a cheater. One of the best examples of this is JW, where he'd go on to say this.
Oh, fuck this Ropz re. I don't know why the f we don't just ban him. He's never gonna show up at the LAN. I don't even want to join a team.
Then after this clip, he'd also go on to explain, I expressed myself a bit clumsy because of getting wrecked so hard 16-3, but here's what I think about it. It annoys me that someone that is this good don't take the chance to jump on a team. Really good teams have asked this guy. He can become the best player to ever touch the game, and obviously also earn money that kids in his age can only dream of. To me, there is simply no logic behind not joining a pro team and going full-time CS in his spot. He is playing like 10 FPL games at least per day anyways, so the time is obviously there. Why not take 1 year off school to try it? I did, and it paid off. I'm actually putting down a lot of time and work to make FPL a good progress and something we can all be proud of, to find the stars of tomorrow. But with people turning down some of the top teams in the world, in my opinion, they should not have a place in FPL. Just my 2 cents. Also, it's kind of the meme in FPL right now. As soon as he kills someone, you instantly calls cheat, no matter how bad the kill was or not. So a little bit of backstory here. During this time when Ropz was just frying everyone, he was still going to school, and I mean, he was of course planning to finish out his schooling instead of just full-time pursuing Counter-Strike, so he at this point refused to join top teams. This in turn did upset other pros like JW, because if you're really this good, why not take the chance? But I totally get like wanting to stay in and finishing school. That makes sense to me. But anyways, after a while, due to the increase in pressure due to the cheating accusations, Ropz would begin to question if this was really what he wanted to do. He would then begin to start losing motivation. But this is when in 2017 he would go to the London Faceit HQ and play under their supervision to try and disprove all of the doubters. At the Faceit HQ, he'd continue to perform at an incredibly high level, successfully disproving all of the cheating accusations. And well, the rest is history. He'd go on to join Mouse while still in school, and then go on to be one of the best players in the world while on the team. Eventually, he'd move to FaZe Clan, win a major, move to Vitality, win another major, the entire time winning a multitude of S-tier events. He was also consistently a top 20 player. Since 2018, he's been on the list every single year, peaking at number 3 in the world. There was an insane Stewie 2K witch hunt for quite a while, and a lot of it was due to one man who was the main driving force, Dan M. But before we get into him, just a slight bit of backstory. Stewie would start his competitive CS career in 2015 at age 17. His first team would be SKDC, then he would move to X Elevate, then Splice, which would be his first established organization. Through 2015, his reputation would grow rapidly, not because of his time on these teams. Throughout 2015, he'd only post a a 1.02 rating, but because of his insane performance in ESEA pugs. Due to his dominance in these online games and being fairly unknown, similar to the other two players on this list, he'd start receiving backlash for being a potential cheater. This would fuel him to prove them wrong and become a true professional player. His time on Splice would only go on to last a month, and then at the start of 2016, he joined Cloud9 just days after turning 18. This was an incredibly risky move that was met with quite a bit of skepticism. Could a pug star like Stewie really work in tier 1? His playstyle was so aggressive, often pushing through smokes like a maniac.
What's up, bitch?
And well, with a little bit of time, it seemed like this playstyle absolutely could translate to tier 1. As in 2016, with the help of Stewie, Cloud9 would win ESL Pro League Season 4 finals. This is around the time where cheating accusations would begin to resurface. People noticed Stewie had some incredibly strange tendencies, where clips of apparent aim lock, unnatural crosshair movements or flicks, and these magic shake patterns would begin to show up, and this was then eventually followed up by the classic Dan M. Stewie 2K can't explain all of this cheat evidence video. Now you might think, oh, it's just some crazy old geezer in his basement, okay? Of course he's gonna be witch hunting Stewie, but it really was a good chunk of the community that also was throwing out accusations. Why is this video getting so many dislikes, lol? Like, it's blatant that the guy cheats.
Fucking fanboys, man.
Some more fuel to the fire, and he shows these two clips.
I think he's hitting his aim key there and then following it up with swipes that are similar to kind of try and add misinformation. So you could see him like swipe more, you know, his aim key took him to the right and now he swipes more to the right just to kind of look like that's his habit. But we do have some fishy shit here, and I'm going to show that at full speed again just so you can appreciate it. Like, what the fuck? This really looks like he's hitting an aim key.
Stewie 2K has been doing the shaky crosshair bullshit before Cloud9 when he was the up-and-coming pugger on ESEA. I called this a long time ago to several people in private, and they told me he's clean. I felt like it was horseshit because a majority of the shakes he does and such have pulled towards people in an aim lock way, and it's always been sketchy as fuck. There is definitely something going on here because of the retarded C9 fans that want to suck Stewie's tiny Asian dick. That is just uncalled for, bro. Come on. Now, the community didn't all bandwagon like this. I would say a majority thought this was incredibly goofy. Anyways, after all of this, Stewie would of course go on to be one of the most decorated players in NACS history, winning a major, a grand slam, and various other S-tier tournaments. And now going back to it, I'm not saying nocries is going to be a god amongst men, but so far, we're 2 of 2 on players winning majors after a large chunk of the community calls them out for cheating. That's all I'm saying. And I mean, the further down this list, just the better it gets. When we talk about topics such as this, Flusha is like the player that I feel like everyone thinks of. Like when you clicked on this video, you had to have known I was gonna talk about him. Anyways, Flusha started his professional career in 2011, playing 1.6. He did fine, but his real success would come after the start of CSGO. He'd go from team to team, eventually ending up in Epsilon in 2013, where he'd post a 1.08 rating. Then in August of 2013, he'd go on to join Fnatic. In Fnatic, he would go on to win 3 majors, being the MVP of 1, along with winning a truckload of S-tier tournaments and placing in the top 24 times, peaking at number 2 in the world. Now, Flusha is a little different than everyone else we've talked about so far. Everyone else was considered a cheater before they had any real achievements in their career, while Flusha would start getting accused while he was in his prime. Cheating accusations would erupt around DreamHack Winter 2014 Major, with Flusha lift clips showing crosshair snapping to enemies through walls in multiple demos. This was also mostly due to the recent SF and Kukli bans, because I mean, if those two pros could cheat in a professional scene, surely there had to be more. So a witch hunt would begin, and Flusha would become almost everyone's main target. Even the current coach of NIP at the time, Kita, would tweet out, "It's a fucking disgrace to the community and every hardworking player if CSGO put Flusha through to play DreamHack. It's obvious as it can be." After all these accusations got thrown around, Flusha would go on to make this post on his Facebook page. "Hello everyone, I am going to talk a bit about all the cheating accusations that people have directed towards me. First of all, I have been playing competitively for about 7 to 8 years now, both CS 1.6 and CSGO. I have been heavily accused all my career except for the 1.5 year after we got a breakout tournament at Copenhagen Games 2013. But ever since the VAC bans of Kukli and SF went public, the community has been in a witch hunt for players, mostly me. The only thing the community has managed to get me and my team is a lot of undeserved hate. I have never been banned or gotten disqualified for cheating from a tournament, league, ladder in all my life. Yet I have been reviewed by a lot of different admins. For example, ESL admins has reviewed me on several occasions. The only thing I can say about the clips on me is that I have a a very different play style, and I lift my mouse a lot more than the average pro player. The last thing I would like to say is that this community is a fucking joke. Ever since this witch hunt started, 9 out of 10 messages to me on Twitter/Facebook has been insults or death threats. The other 1 out of 10 are fans that still appreciate what we do and just want to tell us that they are still cheering for us. I thank them for this. I love esports and the joy you can get out of it. The only problem with it is the community and all that they bring. Then a while after his initial post, the Fnatic star player added a new post to reply to some of the people in the comment section, where he would say, "Since there is still a lot of ignorant people, I have never cheated and I will never cheat." The witch hunt got so bad, his mental health would start to decline pretty rapidly. And then of course with the Olaf boost literally happening during this major, it did not help the whole situation. The hate getting piled onto Fnatic during this time period was worse than probably any other team in history.
Come on, there's only great games here. We don't have booing in esports. No booing in esports.
But the good news is Flusha would eventually play into it, hitting clips and pugs with the name Senor Vac, and eventually things would slightly die down. But like even today, there are posts from around 5 months ago saying that he was absolutely cheating. At the end of the day, I guess we'll really never know. I mean, of course, unless Garmer interviews him and feeds him a truth serum, but you know, it probably won't happen. We go on from a 3-time major winner to a 2-time major winner. Zywoo was simply born to play this game. I'm sorry, I just have to say it. Even as a decorated Vitality and Zywoo hater, even I have to admit, I mean, he is just a fucking demon. And even him being born on the same day that Counter-Strike was released, truly destiny that he would be the GOAT of this game. And this would also be very clear early on in his career, when at the age of only 16, he would absolutely dominate FPL lobbies. The way he was running around, farming the best players in the world, it was kind of like he was just squishing bugs. Not only this, he was a crackhead in tier 2. Like, I truly don't think I have ever seen tier 2 numbers like the ones that he had. In 2017, he'd play for 3 teams. During his time on these 3 teams in 2017, he'd post a 1.42 rating over a full year, 133 maps. Then in 2018 on AAA, he'd post a 1.39. I feel like cheating accusations are valid as fuck at this point. I mean, like back-to-back years of basically a 1.4 rating. I can't blame anyone. After going on to dominate in tier 2 for 2 years, along with dominating FPL in 2018, he'd get picked up by Vitality in October of the same year. And an interesting tidbit, G2's old CEO actually went on to say that they did have a chance to sign Zywoo, but they didn't due to cheating accusations. In an interview, they would ask Ocelot if it was true that Zywoo could have joined G2 for a 10k salary, but rejected because he wanted to finish school first. But Ocelot would actually deny the rumor and explain the actual case. "We could have gotten him, it's true, but different people from the CS too. I'm not only talking about the players, but also staff who thought he was cheating actually. But that was before he became popular. It's not completely terrible to think that a 15-year-old completely unknown is killing it on Faceit, destroying everyone, highlight reels everywhere. People start to ask questions. They weren't sure he was cheating, but he couldn't take the risk. You can afford it when you're Mr. Nobody team, but when you're G2 and take the risk, replace one of your players with him and he turns out to be a cheater, he fucks your whole shit up. Even if there's a 10% chance he is a cheater, you cannot pick him up. There's too much risk. Your sponsors, the fans, you can get banned from a league. You see the catastrophe that can happen to your organization. With the 200 to 300 employees, you cannot do it. And along with this, according to Thorin, many pro players also thought he was cheating.
Like, I can tell you, I showed some of those clips before he ever joined top level pro CS to other pro players that you would respect and would be in a Hall of Fame, and they told me he either cheats, they actually thought he did, or he's the best player ever, is what they would say.
And I think it's safe to say which category he fit into. 2-time major winner, 2-time major MVP, one of the best rookie years of all time where he was the #1 player in the world, followed by being at least in the top 3 every single year he played. And his current all-time rating is a 1.33. I mean, he barely dropped off from tier 2. He's just simply the truth. Now, the last player I'll be talking about today, and listen, call me a casual dork, loser, idiot, but I never actually knew this guy got as many cheating accusations as he did, and that's Coldzera. And it wasn't even just him, but there was like a small little witch hunt for him and a lot of the other players on Luminosity/SK. I can't believe there's real human beings that were calling him out. See, I feel like everyone knows Coldzera. He's one of the best players to ever live. He joined Luminosity in July of 2015, go on to win a billion S-tier tournaments, plus 2 majors, plus 2 major MVPs, and be ranked back-to-back the best player in the world. He also probably has the most famous clip in Counter-Strike history.
Here he comes once again. The first base is a Dren. He's going to hit the ground there as Cold. Oh, what? A jumping double from Cold. What is going on right now? How does he do this?
But this didn't come without some people, of course, thinking it was just too good to be true. Strip SK Gaming titles for cheating. Strip them now. I have done a lot of Overwatch, and watching Coldzera and Taco play, they obviously follow people through walls, and it seems as though their mice snag slightly when they mouses over people. They need to have their stuff inspected by the people running the tournament, because it is very easy to bring in cheats when setting up their mouse and stuff. It is sickening to see obvious cheats on LAN in pro games. This is like Titan. This stuff needs to stop. They've been fishy AF for a while now. They never checked the wrong angle in a clutch situation. Just now in JDM versus Fur/Cold, they spray heaven briefly, only enough to do its 15-20 HP damage to player, then turn their back to it without finish clearing it. Blah 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 blah. There are videos showing that Cold seems to be using a soft aim assist that drags his crosshair in the direction of his opponent. It is really hard to detect a cheat like that because it just looks like you have good crosshair placement. Sometimes though, if your opponent does something weird, you start aiming at the ground like a silver, and then he would link this clip. And of course there was not only this, but the GOAT himself, Dan M, actually made a video on Coldzera about half a year prior to his Stewie one, except it seems like in this one he tried a whole hell of a lot less. Not only did he use one single clip that you need to pause perfectly at the correct time for it to even work, but he also included clips from Thorin and Semphis, which are just complete random clips where they talk about cheating to try to support his case. This video genuinely feels more like a shitpost than anything else. Hey man, I thought I'd still include it to pad the runtime in this video. But anyways, that's it from me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, liking, subscribing, notificationing me, and yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys next weekend.